Lately, it is the legal problems, charges he was involved in a Southland murder that have taken the spotlight.
Lately, it's not the music or the jokes making headlines. It's the legal chaos and those haunting charges. The name Snoop Dogg used to mean chill vibes, slick rhymes, and that smooth uncle energy everyone loved. But something's changed. Behind that easy grin the cameras love, whispers say his world's slowly cracking open from the inside out. People in the industry are calling it the quiet collapse. A trail of tragedies, hidden truths, and shocking health scares has everyone wondering how much more he can handle. It started as small talk, rumors about tension at home, about stress eating away at him. But now it's snowballed into something way deeper, like the empire he built is finally buckling under years of secrets and survival. Nobody ever thought the man who dodged major charges and thrived through rap's cutthroat politics could get shaken by something within his own family. But that's exactly what's happening. Insiders whisper that this time, the storm isn't coming from the streets, it's coming from his bloodline. And today, the conversation has shifted completely. Nobody's talking about his chart toppers or his spot on that TV singing show anymore. The buzz now is all about his daughter, Corey. Back in January 2024, she opened up about her terrifying health scare, revealing to the world that she had suffered a severe stroke at just 24 years old. The news hit fans like a shockwave, leaving everyone stunned and asking what's really going on behind Snoop's calm smile. It's hard to even process this, it really is. We're so used to seeing celebrities as untouchable, like they live above the kind of pain that hits the rest of us. But then there she was, Corey, raw and emotional on her Instagram stories, tears streaming as she confessed her fear and confusion. "I'm only 24. What did I do in my past to deserve all of this?" she asked, her voice trembling, and the whole world felt that heartbreak hit deep.
It was some other shit, cuz. And as soon as I walked out of there, I went in the bathroom and I threw up. And just laid on the floor for like 30 minutes. His mama came.
Nobody's ready to watch a parent face something like that. But just when people started to catch their breath, weeks turned into months, and suddenly her name was back in the headlines again. The same daughter who's been battling lupus since childhood now had another fight on her hands, a baby born 3 months too soon. A tiny, fragile life struggling for every breath from the moment it arrived. The internet exploded with emotion, prayers, and love pouring in. But beneath it all, there's this heavy question: how much can one family take? Fans have been flooding social media with messages, lighting up timelines with tributes and speculation. It's wild because this isn't some distant memory, it's happening right now in real time as the world scrolls, watches, and gasps. It's like the universe keeps throwing punches, not giving his family a moment to breathe. And now the whispers are louder than ever. What's really happening behind those closed doors? Why does surviving seem to come with such a brutal price? Here's where things get real messy. You can't talk about Snoop's current struggles without dragging in the heavy weight of everything he's already survived. He came up in a world where death wasn't just a story, it was part of the scenery. The streets were cold, and back then, one wrong move could have cost him his freedom forever. In the mid-90s, he was standing in a Los Angeles courtroom, facing a first-degree charge after a shooting that nearly shut his career down before it even took off. The cameras were locked in, the headlines were explosive, and the whole world waited to see if this would be his final chapter. But somehow, against all odds, what could have been the end turned into just another wild page in his legend. After walking out of that courtroom, Snoop switched up his whole game. His sound changed, his mindset shifted. He stopped glorifying the chaos.
I only had it in Long Beach right now as far as me doing something for the community because that's where my heart lies at as far as straightening out my own neighborhood before I go elsewhere.
But even when he grew, the world around him didn't stop falling apart. Then came one of the darkest moments in hip-hop. His close friend and collaborator, Shakur, gunned down in Vegas. A loss that still echoes through music today. One of the biggest voices of a generation, gone too soon. And Snoop had to carry that pain while still keeping his name clean. Then came the heartbreak of losing Biggie, the rise of Coast Wars, and Snoop found himself in the middle of all that madness, torn between loyalty, survival, and trying not to get swallowed by the same violence that claimed his peers. Looking back now, it all feels like more than just history. It's like those early battles carved something deep in him, something we didn't fully see until years later. And that's what makes this moment so haunting. The same kind of loss that used to hover over his generation has crept into his own home. It's not just about surviving anymore, it's about what survival costs. The pain from those days didn't fade, it followed him, and now it's written into his own bloodline. Back in 2019, Snoop's oldest son, Corday, welcomed his baby boy, Kai, and for a brief, heartbreaking moment, it seemed like new life was breathing hope into the family. But tragedy struck fast. The baby lived only 10 days before passing away, and the world grieved right alongside him. The tributes hit social media like waves, black and white photos, quiet captions, and raw words filled with pain that no fame could soften. That moment didn't feel like just another celebrity story, it felt personal. Losing legends like Pac and Biggie is one kind of pain, but losing your own blood, that cuts on a whole different level. The internet never forgot. It still circles back to that loss like it's trying to understand a pattern that's just too cruel to make sense of. These aren't side notes in his legacy. They're scars that never fully heal, moments that bleed across timelines and pull even casual fans into the heaviness of it all. Then came another crushing blow. His mother, Beverly, passed away in late 2021. The woman who raised him, sang in the choir beside him, and stood by him through the wildest storms was suddenly gone. Snoop spoke about it with a kind of pain that stripped away every layer of his usual cool. His words cracked, his voice broke, and fans saw something rare. The man behind the legend, shattered but still standing. Videos of him at a graveside, tears streaming, went viral, reminding everyone that beneath the swagger and fame, there's a fragile heart that's been through too much loss.
She stepped up as my wife and handled that. And it's been many times where I've been at my lowest, and she's always been the strongest to get me back up to like, get back out there. You gotta get back out there and do what you do. Don't worry about what's happening over here. I'm gonna handle that.
And through all that pain, one constant kept him grounded. His wife, Shantae. She's been with him since high school, his partner in business and in life, the one who's seen every side of the man the world calls Snoop Dogg. But insiders say even that love story hasn't always been smooth sailing. That anchor's been tossed between calm waters and wild storms more times than most people know. Sure, we've all seen the beautiful anniversary photos and the sweet posts about loyalty, but behind the scenes, the rumor mill's been spinning. Talk of infidelity, that public split back in 2004, and constant whispers about how fame strains even the strongest love. Still, through the chaos, they keep finding their way back to each other, and that says more about survival than any song ever could. People close to the couple swear that Snoop and Shantae have weathered every storm together. They say she's been his rock, his manager, his protector, and his biggest supporter through the madness of fame. But even with that loyalty holding strong, their private life keeps pulling the public's attention like a magnet. The whispers won't stop. Talk about what's been forgiven, what's been swept under the rug, and what old wounds might still be quietly burning beneath the surface. It's almost as constant as the cheers he gets when he steps on stage. But here's what most people on the outside don't talk about enough. Surviving the streets and surviving stardom aren't the real tests. The hardest fight comes from surviving the emotional toll. Imagine watching people you love either fade away or fight battles they didn't choose. His half-brother, more than just family, a business partner and friend, passed suddenly in his mid-40s, leaving another hole that success couldn't fill. Then there's the constant worry over his daughter's autoimmune condition, something she's been battling since she was a child. Those reminders hit him daily, each one carving deeper into his spirit. Behind the smiles and the chill image, insiders say Snoop spends long nights wide awake, wrestling with guilt, what-ifs, and the haunting thought that maybe every blessing comes with a hidden cost. Fame gave him everything the world could envy, but it also gave him pain that money can't fix. We see the calm face, the jokes, the big brand deals, and the effortless cool, but what we don't see is how that kind of inner wear builds up. Sometimes it's not the hustle that breaks you, it's the quiet weight of everything you've had to survive just to keep smiling. Now here's the part that's got everyone talking, the buzz that's making people lean in with wide eyes and wild curiosity.
I believed him because he wasn't talking just to be talking. I felt he was also coming straight because there was a big war behind that. A war that they lost. And I think it was a war that destroyed their neighborhood.
Old beefs are bubbling back up, and new legal drama is casting long shadows, making fans wonder if the ghosts of the 90s are finally coming back to collect. Word hit that a lawsuit's been filed, accusing Snoop of serious misconduct from years ago. His team came out swinging, calling the claims opportunistic and defamatory, insisted none of it holds water. Still, the timing couldn't be worse. It's all breaking right as he's gearing up for major high-profile performances, adding layers of tension to a career already built on surviving the impossible. Now, no one's here to throw around unverified rumors as facts, but let's be real. This moment feels like a full-blown pressure cooker. The past and present are colliding hard, mixing old controversies with new accusations. Once again, Snoop's right in the center of that blinding spotlight, where every move and every silence gets dissected. His reps are firing back, calling the allegations disgraceful and staged, but that's only added more fuel to the divide. Fans and critics are picking sides fast, each convinced they're seeing the real story. And that tug-of-war between what's alleged and what's denied, between hard facts and wild gossip, is exactly where the rumor mill loves to live.
If you add all that type of stuff up, and you'll see how the industry been built on the secret rooms.
It's the tension that keeps headlines spinning and social feeds buzzing, because everyone wants to know which version of the truth will hold up when the dust settles. Then, as if things weren't already heating up enough, Suge Knight jumps back into the picture. The former death row boss has reignited an old fire, throwing out fresh claims about Snoop's supposed connection to Shakur's tragic shooting. The internet exploded the moment that hit, fans revisiting decades-old footage and interviews, trying to connect dots that might not even exist. Snoop didn't waste time clapping back, dropping a sharp comment online, saying Suge just won't stop talking and insinuating. It's wild to watch, because suddenly the battles we thought were buried deep in hip-hop history are roaring back to life like they never left. It's all noise, loud, messy, and dripping with resentment. This feels like 2025's remix of that old West Coast versus East Coast tension, only now it's playing out through viral clips and comment wars instead of wax records. But don't get it twisted. Just because it's happening online doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Every post, every shade-filled caption, every whispered what if adds fuel to this storm of unresolved grievances and unhealed scars. People are dissecting everything, digging up old interviews, replaying podcasts, sharing screenshots, and arguing over if it's all baseless hate or smoke covering up a deeper truth. It's chaotic, magnetic, and impossible to look away from. The whole thing pulls you in, making you wonder what's really going down behind those locked doors. But here's the part nobody saw coming, the real twist that hits harder than any diss track. Surviving everything, trials, losses, courtroom drama, family struggles, and endless rumors doesn't make someone bulletproof. It actually makes every new stumble sting more. Every emotional hit lands deeper because the world expects strength on repeat without ever stopping to ask what that costs. And right now, Snoop's standing right in the middle of that storm. Family health scares, old rivalries flaring back up, fresh legal heat, and the constant grind of protecting a legacy that's been decades in the making.
If you look at it, they committed fraud. They committed bankruptcy fraud. I didn't lose my company by doing anything wrong.
The tension feels like it's building to something huge, something that hasn't revealed itself yet. It's like we're watching history, rumor, and reality crash together in real time, and the energy in the air feels electric. You can almost sense it, that buzzing undercurrent before the thunder hits. Whatever's coming next could shift everything we thought we knew about him forever.
We all noticed it. Snoop Dogg's been too calm lately, too untouchable, like a man who's already fought every battle worth fighting and came out untouched. But then, that calm started to feel strange, almost too quiet. Behind the cooking shows, game shows, and smooth, polished interviews, something doesn't quite line up. People close to him keep saying he's just protecting his peace, but insiders whisper a different story, that he's not just keeping calm, he's managing secrets. Old debts, quiet payoffs, and maybe even ghosts from those death row days that never really got buried.
Every few months, it happens again. Some piece of his past claws its way back to the surface, and every time Snoop either flashes that legendary grin and shrugs it off, or vanishes from the spotlight completely. The pattern's too sharp to be coincidence. It's like he's been playing quiet defense against a storm that never stops circling his life. We all remember what that death row crown looked like back in the day. Gold chains, fast cars, and enough power to make anyone nervous. But let's be real, that empire wasn't built on music alone. It was built on loyalty, favors, and the kind of business that left people owing way more than just money. Those roots run deep, and some connections never fully die, no matter how much success you stack on top. So when Snoop made that shocking move in 2022, buying back Death Row, the world celebrated. It felt poetic, like the ultimate full-circle moment. The student became the master, the label that almost ended him now sitting proudly under his name. But for those who've been around long enough to remember the chaos behind that logo, it also raised questions. Did he really take control of the past, or did he just inherit all of its ghosts? Word on the street is that the Death Row deal didn't come clean. It came with strings and maybe even shadows attached. Some insiders swear that a few of those original contracts from the 90s were never fully settled. They whisper about missing royalties, buried paperwork, and money that's been floating in limbo for decades. If that's true, then Snoop didn't just buy back a brand.
Snoop Dogg saying he owns Death Row is no different than me saying Tupac was alive because I had the unreleased Tupac music. It ain't no different, bro.
He might have inherited all its ghosts too. And when you start noticing how the old crew keeps crawling back into the spotlight, Suge Knight doing interviews, former Death Row associates suddenly popping up with new stories, it stops feeling like coincidence and starts looking like unfinished business creeping out of the past. Just a few weeks back, Suge Knight was at it again, talking from behind bars, but this time his target was Snoop himself. He dropped another one of his trademark bombshells, claiming Snoop had ties to the night Tupac Shakur was attacked. At first, it sounded like the same old bitterness, just another chapter in a feud that should have died years ago. But then Suge doubled down, saying Snoop had people trying to bail out Dwayne Keefe D, the same man now accused of knowing way too much about what really happened to Shakur. If there's any truth to that, then it's not just gossip, it's strategy. Some folks think Suge's trying to send a message, stirring the pot from behind bars to keep the wrong people quiet. Snoop didn't stay silent this time, though. He clapped back online, brushing Suge off as jealous and mocking him for still running his mouth. But here's the thing, Snoop's ignored hundreds of wild stories before, yet this one hit a reaction. That tells us something hit close. The way he responded, sharp, quick, and with a hint of irritation, made fans wonder if Suge touched a nerve. And the buzz is growing, because it's not just Suge stirring things up anymore. Other names from the old Death Row days are starting to talk too, and it feels like the past just won't stay buried. There's still a lawsuit lingering in the shadows, filed by a woman known only as Jane Doe, accusing Snoop and his longtime associate, Bishop Don Magic Juan, of serious misconduct after a concert back in 2013. The story hit like a bomb, dropping just days before one of the biggest moments of his entire career, the Super Bowl halftime show. His team immediately called it a shakedown scheme, saying it was all a setup to cash in on his fame. But the accusations were dark and detailed enough to rattle even longtime fans. Jane Doe claimed that during a taping of his Double G News network, Snoop cornered her and forced her into a situation no one could ever call consensual. His lawyers came out swinging, shutting it down fast and calling the claims completely baseless. But still, people couldn't help noticing the timing. It felt too precise, too perfectly placed to cause maximum damage. Right before he hit that massive stage in front of millions, the allegations dropped like a storm cloud over what should have been a career milestone. Even after Snoop's team denied everything, whispers started floating through the entertainment and legal circles, talk that maybe private settlements might have been discussed behind the scenes. If that's true, then maybe not everything was as clean-cut as the press releases made it sound. It added another layer of mystery to an already complicated story, one that fans and critics can't stop dissecting.
Your wife's been by you for your whole
She's your
career.
high school
Your high school sweetheart. She is.
Never leave home without her.
Yeah, that's right. But how has she kind of taken you on this journey? Tell us about her.
I think my wife has been my best friend for a couple of reasons. One is that she always understood who I was and who I needed to become.
But what really keeps this whole saga pulsing is the woman who's been by his side through it all, Shantae Brodus. His wife, his manager, his partner in every sense, now standing in the middle of the storm, calm but unshakable. The public's wondering what's going through her mind as these accusations resurface, and how she manages to keep her composure when the headlines just won't let up. She's not just the high school sweetheart who never left. Shantae Brodus is the backbone of Snoop's entire empire now. His wife, his manager, his ultimate decision maker. Every contract, every endorsement, every public statement runs through her first. When she officially took the reins in 2021, Snoop said it himself, "She's always been my final gut check." And honestly, that might be the most genuine thing he's ever admitted in public. But power like that doesn't come without pressure. People in their circle talk about Shantae as both protector and warden, the one who keeps Snoop's brand spotless and his private life tightly sealed. There are even whispers that she's quietly called in favors from powerful industry friends to keep certain stories from surfacing. And when you look at how fast most of his scandals vanish from headlines, you can't help but wonder if she's the one pulling the strings.
She's been the quiet architect behind Snoop's biggest reinvention, turning him from the face of gangster rap into the family-friendly icon you see on cooking shows and commercials today. Every move, every image tweak, every comeback, Shantae's fingerprints are all over it. And while the world sees Snoop as the legend, those who really know the game say she's the one making sure his empire doesn't crack under all the pressure. But here's where things start to twist even tighter, because the more you look at Snoop and Shantae's story, the more it feels like their power is both their protection and their prison. She's running the brand, guarding the image, and keeping the money flowing. But behind all that polish, people are whispering about what that control really costs. Some say she's exhausted from years of playing peacekeeper, cleaning up messes before the public ever catches a whiff. Others claim that even Snoop, for all his fame and charm, is starting to feel the weight of living life on such a tight leash. Industry folks say Shantae has become the real gatekeeper. Every interview, every deal, every social move gets filtered through her. It's power at the highest level, but it's also a lot of responsibility for one person. And lately, there's talk that cracks might be forming, not in love, but in patience. Managing a global brand while protecting a man constantly caught in headlines can't be easy, and insiders describe the atmosphere around them as tense but loyal.
You get to be the age that we at and you get to become as successful as we are, you have to start doing some things that matter for the future.
They move together, always in sync, but sometimes that looks more like survival than peace. Still, even with all the chaos swirling around, they've managed to keep the empire running like a machine. That's the part that keeps everyone watching, how no matter what's going their way, they somehow stay standing, smiling for cameras, acting like nothing's out of place. But the silence between the headlines tells another story, one of fatigue, secrets, and a family that's been through more storms than most could survive. And now, with all the renewed drama, the resurfacing lawsuits, Suge's comments, and the constant social buzz, there's this eerie sense that something big's about to shift again. Fans can feel it building, like the calm before another explosion. The question isn't if something's coming, it's when. And when it hits, the world's gonna be watching, ready to see if the Broadus dynasty can keep standing strong, or if the cracks they've been hiding finally start to show.
What's wild is how quiet Snoop's been through all this. The man who once couldn't resist a mic now seems to choose silence like it's his new defense weapon. No public breakdowns, no rants, just carefully worded posts and that signature calm smile. But behind that cool front, insiders say the tension is boiling. He's been canceling low-key appearances, skipping smaller gigs, and spending more time at home, surrounded by only a few trusted people, mostly family and longtime team members who've been with him since day one. Some in the industry are whispering that he's in full damage control mode, waiting for the next wave of headlines to crash before making his next move. Others think he's planning something major, a rebrand, maybe even a documentary to tell his side before anyone else can twist it. Whatever it is, the silence feels strategic, not accidental. It's the quiet of someone who knows the next chapter has to be written carefully or risk burning everything he's built. Meanwhile, social media's been going wild. Old clips resurfacing, fans dissecting lyrics, conspiracy threads stacking up by the hour. Everyone's got their theory about what's really going on behind those calm posts and perfect smiles. Some say it's just the calm of a man at peace. Others swear it's the stillness before a major storm. But the truth? It's starting to look like Snoop's walking a line thinner than ever before, balancing fame, family, and a legacy that could either be celebrated forever or dragged back into the chaos he fought so hard to escape. The world's eyes are on him again, watching every move, waiting for the next headline to drop. And if history's taught us anything about Snoop Dogg, it's that every time people think he's cornered, he finds a way to flip the script. The only question now is, what move does he make next? So here we are, standing at the edge of another chapter in Snoop Dogg's untold story. From courtroom battles to family heartbreak, from death row chaos to empire-level success, the man's lived a life that reads more like a movie than reality. But the difference this time, the cameras aren't fully catching what's going on behind the scenes, and that's what's got everyone watching so closely. Every whisper, every rumor, every resurfaced clip paints a picture of a legend fighting to keep his peace in a world that refuses to let him rest. The old ghosts keep circling, the legal battles keep testing him, and the spotlight never dims, no matter how much he tries to pull back. Yet somehow, Snoop keeps moving, keeps smiling, keeps flipping every obstacle into another page in his legacy. And that's the real story here. It's not just about fame or controversy. It's about endurance, about a man who's carried decades of history, pain, and power while the world watches his every move. Whether you believe he's hiding secrets or just protecting his sanity, one thing's undeniable. Snoop Dogg is still standing, still building, and still finding ways to keep his name shining when most would have crumbled long ago. But the question that lingers in the air, what happens next? Will new truth surface, or will he finally get the peace he's been chasing all these years? Only time's gonna tell, and you know the worlds will be tuned in for whatever comes next. If you've been following this wild ride, don't miss what's still to come, because if Snoop's story has proven anything, it's that there's always another twist waiting right around the corner. Fire! Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Tell us what you think. Is Snoop's calm the sign of peace, or the calm before another storm? Stay locked in, because this story's far from over, and you don't want to miss what happens next.